If you've ever sat in a high school classroom staring down a mountain of syllabus material, you know the feeling. You try to cram every fact, every date, and every concept into your head with equal weight, hoping something sticks. Most students approach the final board exam as a black box. You feed it months of study and hope the questions don't expose the exact chapters you decided to skim. Standardized board exams operate on a strict, highly engineered mathematical algorithm. The MP Board 2026-27 marking schemes are the blueprints for this system. They reveal an invisible architecture, a precise psychological logic that dictates every single question tier on the paper. Studying without understanding this underlying structure is an exercise in inefficiency. You are effectively playing a high-stakes game without bothering to learn the rules. The structure starts with the largest pillar of the exam, the 1-mark objective tier. This marking scheme for an 80-mark subject shows the scale of this section. The notes at the bottom specify that questions 1 through 5 are composed of 32 objective questions. In 70-mark subjects, this ratio remains a deliberate design choice. The rules here outline 28 objective questions, ensuring the board weights the front end of every paper with the same priority. Those 32 marks are divided into 5 specific cognitive formats. You have to navigate multiple choice, fill in the blanks, true-false statements, matching pairs, and one-word answers. This setup means the objective section accounts for exactly 40% of the entire paper. This is the board casting a wide net. Because a 1-mark question can be pulled from a single sentence anywhere in the textbook, this tier forces you to touch every corner of the syllabus. It is a design meant to stop students from skipping chapters. Moving up the cognitive ladder brings us to the middle tier, 10 separate 2-mark questions in a standard 80-mark paper. The 2-mark tier doesn't test storytelling. It tests precision, your ability to define a concept immediately, without padding the answer with unnecessary detail. Above that sits the synthesis tier, the peak of the exam architecture, made of 3-mark and 4-mark questions. If you look at the marking notes for these standard theory subjects, you'll see the scale caps out at 4 marks. There are no 6, 8, or 10-mark essay questions here. A 4-mark ceiling means the grading rubric is typically tied to 4 specific pieces of information. It replaces the abstract quality of a long-form essay with a checklist, making it much harder for individual examiner bias to sway the final score. This ceiling forces you into analytical synthesis. Instead of filling pages with fluff, you have to deliver tight, highly structured, point-by-point arguments. The board only alters this structure for specialized, performance-based subjects like music or the tabla. In these specific marking schemes, the board breaks its own 4-mark cap. You can see here that the final questions are worth 5 marks each. These subjects rely on a separate physical practical exam, which makes the written paper shorter. This creates the space for the board to demand these deeper 5-mark theoretical dives. The exam is a predictable 3-part cognitive test, a 40% base of breadth, a middle layer of precision, and a peak requiring synthesis. Spending hours writing out long practice essays is mathematically flawed for this architecture. It misaligns your effort with how you will actually be graded. To conquer the foundation tier, you need rapid-fire exposure to facts. Use flashcards to master that 40% objective recall. For the middle tier, focus on 2-line definition lists. You need to hit the page with absolute precision. For the top tier, practice building 4 bullet point outlines. That is the exact structure needed to satisfy a 4-mark synthesis requirement. Understanding the MP Board's design logic transforms studying from a guessing game into a calculated, mathematically optimized strategy.